Sundar Pichai said AI is more profound than electricity or fire. I've been in enterprise technology long enough to know when something genuinely new is happening. This isn't hype. It's a shift in how work gets created, how decisions get made, and how organizations survive the next decade. Most companies are still treating this like a tool upgrade. Wrong layer. This is architectural. Here's what that actually means. Every industrial revolution before this one gave businesses decades to adapt. Steam, electricity, the internet. You had time to watch, plan, budget, execute. This one runs on a different clock. The window isn't decades. It's 12 to 24 months before the gap between those who moved and those who waited becomes structural. If you're still in observer mode, waiting to see how this shakes out, you're not being cautious. You're falling behind in real time. Here's the divergence nobody wants to name. Basic AI adoption, a chatbot here, a summary tool there, won't save you. It'll just make you efficient at being irrelevant. The era of using AI as a feature is over. The era of being built around it has started. And the companies still treating this like an IT project are about to find out what structural disadvantage actually feels like. Here's what most organizations are doing. Taking AI, bolting it onto the same processes, the same workflows, the same org chart that existed before. They call it transformation. It's incremental improvement with better autocomplete. That's the commoditization trap. You adopt the tool everyone else has, apply it the way everyone else does, and wonder why you're not seeing differentiation. You won't. You're optimizing the old game while the new one starts without you. Right now, most organizations are using AI to cut costs. A chatbot here, a process optimization there, maybe a few headcount reductions if they're honest about it. They call it efficiency. I call it the first mover participation trophy. Efficiency alone is not a strategy. It's a sugar high. You feel productive while the gap widens. The actual goal, the only one that survives contact with what's coming, is strategic innovation. Ground-up reinvention of how value gets created. Efficiency keeps you alive. Innovation decides whether you matter. By 2024, 75% of organizations will have deployed basic AI capabilities. The stuff everyone's doing, summarization, chatbots, simple automation, is being commoditized 50% faster than traditional tech ever was. Which means if you build an efficiency model today, your competitor replicates it tomorrow, probably cheaper. That early mover advantage in automation, already gone. Basic AI is just the new baseline. Here's the financial gap. McKinsey shows that organizations embedding AI as a core strategic function are seeing 32% revenue growth. Compare that to 7% for those using it tactically, just optimizing what already exists. That's not a difference in degree. That's structural divergence. Embedding AI strategically isn't optional anymore. It's a multiplier on everything that matters. If you're still in efficiency mode, you're not moving fast. You're standing still at higher speed. You cannot afford to move slowly because the technology sure isn't. GPT-3 to GPT-4, 18 months, 100 times improvement in capability, not 10%, not double, 100, which means any short-term gains you're making from today's basic AI capabilities are already expiring. The technology evolves faster than your budget cycle. You cannot build a strategy on last year's automation tricks. The ground is moving. And here's the part most boards haven't processed yet. This pace isn't slowing down, it's compounding. So let's zoom out for a second. Abdullah Hamid calls AI the new fire. Not a bad comparison, and if you actually think it through, fire didn't just keep us warm, it cooked food, gave our ancestors surplus calories, grew bigger brains. It centralized communities, built cooperation, led to metallurgy, engines, civilization. AI is doing the same thing, just faster and without the smoke detectors. It's augmenting cognition, rewiring how organizations cooperate, fueling breakthroughs in medicine, engineering, logistics. The difference, fire took millennia to reshape society. This is taking months. And unlike fire, you can't just appoint a chief fire officer and hope it sorts itself out. Most companies are trying exactly that. But here's the problem with the fire metaphor. Fire doesn't reprogram itself. AI systems optimize toward goals. And when optimization is the goal, power seeking becomes a useful sub-goal, not because anyone programmed it that way, but because it works. Geoffrey Hinton has been saying this for months. Most boards think he's being theoretical. He's not. You need governance, foresight, and respect for what you're actually deploying. Because unlike fire, this one learns, which brings us to the gap nobody wants to measure: readiness. what you think you have versus what you actually need. So here's the gap. McKinsey asked executives if they're ready. 80% said yes, we've got advanced AI capabilities. Then they looked at what those companies actually do. 17% had integrated AI into core business processes. 80 versus 17. That's not a gap. That's a boardroom hallucination with a confidence interval. Most organizations think they're ready because they've got a pilot, a dashboard, and a vendor on speed dial. They're not ready. They're just well-informed spectators with a budget line. So how do you bridge that gap? You need an honest maturity assessment, not a vendor checklist. A real answer to where you actually stand. Are you AI native, the 18% who've embedded this into strategy and process? Or are you still building infrastructure, chasing pilots, hoping someone else figures out governance first? Most organizations skip this step. They jump straight to the roadmap without mapping the starting point. That's expensive, because if you don't know where you are, every next step is a guess with a budget attached. Hashtag Sundar Pichai. AI Leadership Healthcare Examples. So what does AI native execution actually look like? Look at healthcare. Mayo Clinic cut diagnosis time by 60% using an AI platform. Cleveland Clinic is writing new treatment protocols. Mount Sinai is predicting patient outcomes at 90% accuracy. They're not using AI to schedule appointments or summarize emails. They're using it to redefine their value proposition and save lives. That's what strategic leadership does. It doesn't optimize the old model. It builds a new one. Most companies are still automating PowerPoints while their competitors are redesigning the business from the ground up. So how do you actually make that shift? You need to stop treating AI like a series of pilots and start treating it like a business model decision. Level 1 is tactical. You're using AI for cost cutting, automation, the stuff everyone's doing. That's table stakes now, and it leaves you wide open. Level 2 is strategic. AI is embedded in how you make decisions, how you create revenue, how you differentiate. The shift isn't technical, it's mental. You have to stop asking, how do we save money with this, and start asking, what becomes possible if we rebuild around it? Most organizations are still stuck on the first question while their competitors are answering the second. The process is simple, the work is not. 3 steps. 1. Assess where you actually are, using a real maturity model, not a vendor scorecard. 2. Interpret what that level means for your specific gaps, not someone else's playbook, yours. 3. Transform. Use the roadmap to move toward AI native capabilities that actually matter. It's honest self-assessment followed immediately by bold execution. Most organizations do step 1, skip step 2, and wonder why step 3 never ships. So let's name what actually survives the next 5 years. By 2030, the companies still standing won't be the ones who adopted AI fastest. They'll be the ones who rebuilt around it. 4 things separate them from everyone else. They redesigned the business model with AI at the core, not bolted on top. They chose collaboration over replacement, amplifying people, not just cutting headcount. They used AI to create new markets, not just optimize old ones. And they invested in literacy and governance before they needed it. Most organizations are still checking boxes. The winners already rewired the foundation. Here's the projection nobody wants to look at directly. 40% of Fortune 500 companies will be displaced by AI native competitors by 2030. Not struggling, not pivoting. Displaced. Nearly half of the most powerful legacy companies on Earth, gone or irrelevant, because they kept treating AI like an optimization layer instead of a complete reinvention of how markets actually work. That's not a warning, that's a timeline. But the companies that rebuild around AI instead of just bolting it on, they're seeing returns 3 times higher, shipping new products twice as fast, and improving customer satisfaction by 5 times. Not incremental, exponential. The gap between those who treat this like strategy and those who treat it like IT is now measurable in revenue multiples. Most organizations are still deciding whether to take this seriously. The ones who already did are pulling away. AI is the new fire. It illuminates, it transforms, and it will absolutely burn down the organizations that refuse to adapt. The time to act isn't tomorrow, it's now. So here's the question. Will you rebuild your organization around what's coming, or will you be the cautionary tale someone else studies? The companies that answer that question correctly won't just survive the next decade, they'll define it. If you want to be ready when this hits your industry, follow for more.